Alright guys, so we're back. We're going to get ready to do some mudding here. We're just going to jump right into it. So this stuff right here is Fiberall Light. It's from U-Pole. It's some super strong stuff. Probably more than we need on this, but it's all I have, so I'm going to put it on. It's really, really good fiberglass stuff. And this stuff is super nice for Napa. It's Bondo, but it's a very nice lightweight Bondo. It sands easy, it goes on easy. I mean, very minimal pinholes, really good stuff. And this is not sponsored by either one of these guys. I just love using this stuff. Hopefully one of these days they'll look back in this and say, hey, we're gonna sponsor you. Yeah, right.
You wish.
So anyways, we're gonna put some on here of this. I'm gonna try, I don't have a lot, so I'm gonna try to, and usually it's like a green, I don't know the name of the stuff I usually use. We may even have to go buy some, I don't know, we'll see. This is just for the beginning, just for the, like the base of it. I'm gonna add a little bit of this honey to it because it makes it smoother and spreads out a little thinner. I don't need it super thick, and you don't need a lot of this stuff. This is the stuff that's mixed in it when you buy it. This is what keeps it, the shelf life, it keeps it smooth. I have an extra. In case your Bondo ever gets thick, or this stuff gets thick, you just add a little bit of this honey back to it, and it makes it real smooth, real nice consistency. It makes it real smooth again. And this was getting a little hard on me. It just does, but from sitting, because that stuff gets, goes away from it. I don't know if it evaporates or what, but anyways, we're gonna add a little bit of hardener to it, and then I'm gonna flip you guys around before I mix it over there, get the crappy stuff out of there. But yeah, everything is ready for this. The part 2 video is getting posted today, so it should be out. If you guys want to watch it, do that, and share it, and like it, and give me some comments, all the good stuff. So normally I just put like an X, kind of.
X-Men.
X or a T, whatever you want to call it. All right, I'm gonna flip you guys around. We'll start back here with the cab corner. Okay, stuff mixed up. Probably put a little too much in there, so I need to work quick. But I want it to dry good and fast so we can sand it off and get our mud on there. Yeah, definitely overdone it. Like I said, all this is for the initial fill-in. Let me tell you, I swear this stuff, I used it for the first time. I ordered it because I like U-Pole's product. I used it on my truck when I redid it, and man, was this stuff hard to sand. I mean, and then I found out through the reps that it's super strong stuff. It's like you could fix a boat with it. So this is very good stuff here. Yeah, it doesn't have to be pretty.
So pretty.
All we're doing is getting where the weld was, and it's kind of hard to work. Not really, but it is. I mean, more than Bondo. This is actually going to be plenty for what's going on here. That's good. Let me get a little shot up here real quick so I don't waste this stuff. Actually worked out good. Yeah, I'll show you when we go to sand it how tough it is. It is some very tough stuff.
Looking tough, feeling tough.
Those hairs are, there we go. Try to clean this crap off so we can use this again as much as we can. Alright, I'm gonna clean this putty blade off real quick, and when it's dry enough to sand, I'll bring you guys back. Okay, I hope this speaker's good right now. I don't know what I keep doing, but the beginning of it sounded weird again. We're gonna go ahead and try to form some of this. About it. That's ready for some mud. Nothing real sharp sticking up. We'll be able to skim that real lightly and make it feel real good. All right, let's go back here. I can tell you right now, there's no shaping this with the DA. And like with some 80 on it or something, it just won't, it don't cut it. It's that strong. Yeah, I'm just trying to get it flat. So when we put the mud on it, we can shape it real good and easier. By the way, it's real smart of me just breathing this stuff right in. It's pretty good for you, actually. That's a joke.
So funny, I almost forgot to laugh.
I'm sure you guys knew that. Kind of hard to get this to curve right in here. Yeah, like I said, all we're doing is just shaping it. We're not trying to take everything back off, just what we need in there. Yeah, you could feel in there when you're what you don't want in there. I think we're good. I'm gonna shape that by hand a little bit with a little piece of 80 or 36 now that we got it knocked down, and we'll be ready for mud. Let me blow that off a little bit. Whew, God, I need to put a mask on next time.
You think?
That is bad. Like I said before, not my favorite stuff by any means. Get ready with the Bondo and stuff. I'm gonna go around that real quick by hand, just real fast. I'll probably bring you guys back in as I'm finishing it, just so I'm not sitting there doing the whole thing on video, but I'll bring you back in. We'll look at it real good, and then we'll get our mud on there, get this thing shaped out real nice, and a lot of that will be done by hand and blocking. We'll hit some with the DA in some areas, but a lot of these areas here, we need to fine tune those by hand. That'll be pretty easy up there. This will be the toughest stuff, but still not that bad. Cool, I'll bring you back here shortly. Okay, this side is sanded. Take you around and see this real quick. So really, all you want to do is, there's no making this look pretty. You just want this stuff for strength and forming a little bit. But we got it all formed out, ready for the mud. And it's just going to be there and back here in the jam where all of our welding stuff was. We want to just keep it strong as we can.
It's very strong.
The weld is strong, but I'm saying, before we put mud down, let me go show you this side. It's nice to put Duraglass down for the Bondo. That's just the way I've always done it. I used to work with a couple of old school guys, and this is just the way it was done. And I'm sure most people do it. Now, if any of you guys watch the Bad Chad channel, he'll put this stuff down here, and then he'll go right back over it with the mud. He won't even sand it, which you can do it that way too, because it'll bite into it. It will bite into it. But what I don't like about that is if you have some lines where, like this, where that needs to come down some, now you got to sand through the mud to get that down right. You know what I mean? Then you're going to be mudding again. So that's why I like to prepare this a little bit first, then put the mud on it. But everybody does it different. So anyways, we're going to go ahead, get some mud mixed up, and we're going to do this corner first. Okay, let's go ahead and mix a little mud up, some of the good stuff. Oh man, hang on one second, guys. Okay, I left my pulling stick on top of the Duraglass can. I don't know why I can't speak today. So I'm gonna try to just get a little here, because this stuff is, like I said, it's smooth. It's some really good stuff. I love it, man. I'll tell you what, they make some really expensive Bondo. I can't remember the name of it now, but anyways, this stuff here, in my belief, hangs right with it. This hardener, man, I'll cook that up a million times too. We'll try to go not too much because I want it to not dry up that fast. I want to be able to work it for a little bit. Yeah, this hardener's a little been sitting for a while, but it still works. As you guys can see, that Duraglass is super freaking hard. So what I done was after I hit it with the grinder, I went back and I need just a little bit more here. I went back and de-ate it a little bit, got into the crevices and stuff with my little, I'll show you on the other side. We'll sand that a little bit on that side, but for now, I just want to keep moving along here. But when I sand that side, I'll take you back in there and show you the little belt sander thing I got to get down in places you can't get, and the DA at the end. All right, let's go back here and get some mud on here. Now, I'm not trying to get this to work all in one swipe. What I mean by that is, it's okay if we got to come back and mud some more again, and mud some more again. The main goal here is to get enough on the surface. This spreader's crap.
Oh, Steve, that's so crappy.
I need to find a new one. I got some in the other room, in the other shop. Yeah, so we'll form all this nice. So the key is put some material on. Don't be afraid to put no material on. Yeah, and you see why I only did a little bit of hardener, because I want to. Here, I'm gonna bring this around here. Yeah, I wanted to work with it for a while. Takes it a little bit longer to dry. Let me get my little spreader. I just take one and I cut one in half like that. Now we can get in here and fill some of these areas. I'll show you another trick here in a minute.
How about a magic trick?
I hate it, but it's what works the best. A lot of guys do it. Some of you might know what I'm getting ready to do. Yeah, like I said, this is nothing like that other stuff. You can put it on creasy or however you need to here, because it will sand nice. All right, here's the part I'm gonna show you. You can use your finger for these jams.
It is not snot.
And get it nice. Or any crevices like that, cracks, crevices, whatever. Just get it in there. Yeah, I want something there I can work with. When I go to sand it, that's what I mean. Where was I at? Oh. And I'm just going over this stuff lightly so I don't take none of it off. I want these corners there when I go to sand them, because we're going to knock them down, a lot of them by hand. It's looking good actually for the first run. Let's put a little bit over here. I feathered this out quite a ways because we want it to smooth out real nice. Now it's starting to harden, but that's okay because we're good. And that'll be good for the first one there. I can knock that down. That's good for that. All right, I'm gonna mix a little bit more up. Get all this stuff in here filled in nice, and then I'll bring you back when it's time to sand it. Same thing I'm gonna do, take my finger and get some in here, swipe some on the bottom, and take my finger in that crease underneath there. And like I said, as soon as it dries, I'll bring you back. Okay, so I got some 40 grit here. It was a 6 or 8 inch, probably, this is 6, I think. Anyways, I cut it down, took the 2 pieces that I can do it by hand with. Some people use 80. I go with like a 36 or a 40 first because it cuts a lot faster. Like on this thicker stuff that we put in here, but I form it down with this, like, cause it's quicker. Actually, I waited a little too long on this mud. I should have hit it while it was a little bit wetter, and then it would have came right out super fast. So now I'm gonna have to sit here and work it for a little while, but that's why I'm using the 40 also, so that it'll cut it a lot quicker. If you can see, it's just coming off there. But yeah, I'll form all my areas like this first, all my little groove areas and edges and stuff like that. Get all them cut down, and then we'll take the DA with the other part of this paper that we cut down. See, now we're shaping now with this stuff even more than the Duraglass. You just go a little bit at a time. You don't want to take off too much. Kind of watch what you're doing, because then what you can do is go back over and just lightly skim it and make everything smooth, and then go back over with like a little bit of 80 and 180, and that's it. We're ready for primer. I try to do this, the mudding, within twice.
In your dreams.
So my first coat here, and then one last little skim for little areas that have like either pinholes or divots, because I don't want to sand down too much to get to the bottom of of those. Then I'm going too far. So if that makes sense. If you can see that, we're getting a nice edge there. Once again, I should have a respirator on, but I don't, like a dummy. Big dummy.
You big dummy.
See, we're already too low there, so I'm gonna have to skim that out some more. That was a higher part in the metal is what it was than the rest of these areas.
Whatever you say.
So, but that's okay. That's why we do it like this. I'll probably ding it in a little bit with the ball peen hammer, and then I'll skim that back out. That way it'll match the rest. That's all you're basically doing with this stuff is just getting your highs and lows. But these areas here, like in these jams and stuff, like in these parts here, they're not as critical as this part, this here and here. You want that to look real, this too you do, but I'm saying you're gonna be seeing more of this than that. This just looks like a door jamb. If you look through here, it'll look just like that when we're done with it. You ain't gonna know the difference between none of that stuff I'm talking about. Not unless we leave a lot of rocky roads, you know what I mean? Which we're not going to. We're gonna get it down nice here. Yeah, if you do this, watch, right after it starts to get, when you put mud on, if you feel it while it's drying, and you catch it in the heat stage, when it's warm, when it's hot, and it's like a little tacky to touch, but it's dry, hit it then, and it'll come right off. You got to be careful because you can take too much off, but you can really grate it off, kind of like, people use cheese graters to do it, but this stuff here works just as good too. A piece of 36 or 40 or something like that. Hey, you do all these areas by hand. That way you can get a nice shape to them. You just want to shape it. That's got a nice shape. Like I said, we got some little spots here, but we may be able to get this part out here with this way. If I can get a good. I just want to show you guys what I'm doing here, and then I'm gonna cut the rest of it down off of the camera so we're not burning that up, and I'll bring you back and show you before we get ready to skim it again. Basically, that's what I'm going to be doing right there. Forming all these out just like that, making them look good. Let's hit this part with the DA real quick, see what it does. Cut that thing down. Oh yeah. Yep, I'll probably ding that in a little bit too. That's a little bit of a high spot, not much at all.
Just, a tad.
But I'll ding that in. This is all looking really good for the final skim. All this is looking good. Yeah, so that's it. That's what I'll do right there, just so you guys can see that. I'm gonna go through and do this flat areas to DA, hand sand a lot of these other areas, get them flattened out nice, and then we'll be ready for just our little skims to fill in these little areas here where you don't want to keep trying to sand these out because you're going to go too far. So you just hit it light skim coat over it. Then you come back over and hit it with some 80 because all your heavy filing work is done. You know what I mean? So, and that'll turn out real nice there. So, all right, I'm going to do that, and then I'll bring you guys back once I get that far when we're getting ready to reskim for the last time, hopefully. That'll be it. Same with the front, and then we'll be getting it close for the primer. Cool. All right, guys, so we've got this side. I did quite a bit off camera, but we have the other side to do. This side's pretty much ready. I got to do a little bit of more skimming and some block work. What I'm using are these Durablocks, the hard one, to kind of, I use it to kind of like shape and make sure it's flat first. And then I get these little, I'll show you guys the pack of these I get. They come in all kind of sizes and all kind of shapes too. Round, different little things going on there for like if you want to get into the crevices and stuff like that. It fits it real nice, and you can sand good, and they're really nice to use for that kind of stuff. But that's good for like, it's kind of firm, but it's good for like finishing stuff like that. But anyways, we're gonna do the other side completely on camera, not the full length, but I'll show you each step and we'll work through it as what we did here. You guys seen most of this on camera, but some of the finishing stuff I didn't show. Like I said, there's just a little bit of more skimming left, a couple little pinholes here and there, but it's pretty much ready for primer on this side. I'm gonna get it all set up on the other side there, and we'll get going with this thing. I wanna get this thing knocked out. Hopefully we get it done today. Cool, be back shortly. All right, guys, kind of the same thing here. I only put one little, what do you call it, little sliver of hardener there. I don't want to have it dry too fast because I want to be able to work with it for a second here, but just enough to where it will harden. Try to get all that mixed up there. Okay. So usually on the first one, I try to put it to it.
Don't be scared.
You know what I mean? That way it's on there, and when we go to work it, there is mud there. What we'll do is, I'm going to work on this front one first. We'll get it nice, and then we'll worry about the other one, the back one. I always like to go a little further than where we're at with it. That way, when I go to feather it out, we have mud in the areas. I'm going to do the little finger trick there. See where we stop here. Yeah, see, if I put too much hardener in it, I'd already be panicking right now. Panic, don't panic, don't panic! Well, especially if it's hot outside. You don't want to put too much, and then you ain't gonna get your stuff spread. Okay, get this going here. And I'll show you guys the outcome of this, after it's done, so you can see the finished product. When you do it with your finger, it makes it come out so much smoother, so much nicer. This stuff is, a lot of people see you doing it with the mud work, and they're like, man, that looks fun. I think we got it just in time, actually. Yeah, like I said, this first coat, I put it down to where I can shape it out nice, just like the fiberglass. And once again, this is how I do it, you guys. I know people do this stuff so many different ways, and by no means am I no professional at it. I don't do it every day. I'm sure there's people out there that know different, quicker things and ways than I do, but I'm just sharing what I know and how I do it. That's all. Oop. But when you're spreading it, what I've found is once you get it down like this, if you go real easy with it, I'm just letting this glide right across it. I'm not putting no pressure on it. You can get like your corners nice, like what I'm doing right now. All right, I'm gonna go get the my paper on my stuff ready. That way when this sets up just to where it's starting to warm up on me a little bit, I'm gonna start shaping it out so it's not too hard on us. That way we can get it shaped out quick. I mean, you can wait until it's completely dry and do it that way, but this is faster, trust me. Pick these up, that way we ain't gotta chisel them all. All right, be back here shortly. Okay, it's now been about, I don't know, a little over 5 minutes or so. I tested a little bit here. What I'm looking for is, see how it's great. This is a piece of 40, just an old piece. You can use 40 or 36, whatever. It just cuts it down. And I'm just going lightly with it here. And it's still sticking to the paper a little, but that's okay. You just take your blowgun and blow it out of there. And what sucks about these jams, this is why they take forever, right here. You gotta do them by hand. And your fingers, they get raw. You shave this is one of the reasons why I'm not very fond of doing this stuff, but it's okay. I mean, I don't wanna sound like discourage anybody, but what I really need to do is move my computer out of the shop, but I like to edit out here in between stuff because I can get more done that way. But I don't want it to suck this stuff in it, so I cut it off when I'm doing this kind of stuff so the dirt don't get in it, the dust, but you still get it in it even after you're done. So what I'm gonna do is try to get all these little high spots out quickly now while it's still a little, tacking up. I'm going real light around these edges because I want to form them into a nice curve. And then once it's fully dry, we can work it with some 80 and get our, final product, final finish. You see it just shaves right off. And if you go too much, don't worry about it, because when you go back over it here in a little bit with your second little skim coat, you can always put more on. But that's why I like to put it on there good. I should have really put more on these edges, but that's okay. It's not that bad. Trying to get the right angle is a fun part too. And another thing, if you don't get all these little high lumpy parts out quickly, when it is fully dry, it takes a little longer. That's all. I just like to make it easy as possible. You can feel it's like real grippy. But I mean, look how that's just shaving right through those high spots. It's allowing me to get flat with it, you know what I mean? And you know what, this is just a door jamb, but still, you don't want to open the door and have it all looking weird.
That's weird.
So you do want it to look good, decent. And another thing, when you put your primer on, we're going to use a high build primer. So if there is a little couple spots that are not perfect, but they're fillable with the primer, that's all you got to do. Because we're going to load it on there too to allow us to be able to block it out. And I usually block that with like 180. You can tell right here we got a low spot, but that's all right. Like I said, we're gonna work it here in a minute. You can see it starting to take shape there, take form.
Everything just sort of pops out at you. It brings it alive.
real light around this stuff just to form it out. Yeah, and hopefully this is just you know, helpful to somebody, either your home DIYer or somebody like that. That's why I'm doing these videos, guys. It's just for like your home DIYers. Somebody wants to save a few bucks, and now I'm putting a little curve to it. I try to explain myself as much as I can. That's why it's nice when you guys put the comments down, so I know what you're thinking, and if you want to know something else, I don't know, you know what I mean? Unless you ask. It's starting to look good there. And by now, it's not sticking as much, but it was, you know, filling the paper up quickly. It blows right out though. This one's, you can tell, see, it ain't bad at all, because it's starting to set a little more, but it's still not quite all the way dry. It's getting there, but we're almost past the point of where we're good now. The rest of it, this is a little high spot here. I cut my freaking fingernails down too short. Now everything I touch, or when I clean those spreaders off, I use thinner in a little squirt bottle, and man does it burn. And this, like this part here, you're never gonna see this. It's gonna be under the rubber. But once again, somebody goes to work on it, they pop that off and they go, oh, look at that crappy ass crap, you know?
Well, it looks like crap.
If somebody just decided to not do it a real nice sand job there and just let a bunch of stuff fly, which people do that. All right, so you get the basic point there. I know I showed some on the other side, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish with my, you know, getting all these areas down a little bit better, and then I'm gonna go ahead and skim it one more time, and I'll bring you back when I'm getting ready to sand on that part. That way we're not, you know, there's no sense in me doing full lengths of what's going on here, because you see what I'm doing. You'll see it going or shaping into something nice as we're going with it here. And I won't miss nothing. I won't cut nothing out. If I think you should know what I'm doing, I'll definitely put it on the camera, but this is all I'm gonna do for a minute. I'm just gonna go around and make sure all my areas are decent, and then we'll reskim it. Cool, be back with you guys shortly. All right, guys, other than a couple little pinholes I had to skim over on the front, it's ready for primer. I'll show you guys in a little bit, but it turned out really nice. And really I just kept doing what we was doing before I cut it off there. I just kept on working it by hand, all the curves and crevices, and used my block on the flat part like I showed you. But this I just swiped. It's starting to set up, so I'm gonna try to start shaving it a little bit. Real quick here, I'll start on this so you guys can see, but same thing. I'm just gonna work down these areas that I put, you know, some bigger, thicker chunks or swipes of mud, if you want to call it. Yeah, and don't be afraid to put this stuff down, guys. I mean, it's how you really want to do it. People are so concerned about, man, that thing's full of mud. No, that's not how it works, because you swipe it on, then you sand a ton of it off. And if you guys want to see my trash can, I'll show you. And there's nothing wrong with mud. There really isn't. Every car, every show car, everything that gets fixed like this has to be done somehow like this. Because how else are you gonna make it, you know what I mean? How else are you gonna make it look right? Not unless you're real sweet with lead work, and even then, that stuff was covered up too like that, because you can only do so much with it. But I mean, you can file it and shave it and make it look nice, but you still wanna put some kind of a skim, you know, to make it look good. But yeah, you're only left with so much once you take it off, once you shave it down, you know? It ain't like you got a big blob in there. But there is some people though, I'll take that back a little bit.
Take it back! Take it back!
I take it back.
That I've seen in the past, that they don't pull dents out, they just fill them in. Now that's a different story. That's nothing like this. I'm just telling you here, you know, put it on so you have something to work with, that's all. But yeah, I have seen stuff where, whoa. And like I said before, if this was on a flat area, I could just take my RIP DA. I got a dual action, not just orbital, but it's dual action, and it would take this down quick. You know, you could just rip right over it. Even you could let it dry. You don't got to do it soft right now like this. I do it soft like this, that way I can work it quick. It's not as hard. Like I said before, it ain't as hard to fool with, you know. This just grades it down for you. Not putting that much pressure at all on it, just kind of letting the paper do its thing. I thought I had another old piece like this. Yeah, that front turned out good. I thought I was gonna have to do some more to it, but as I sanded and then blocked a little bit, and it started to turn out even nicer and nicer. So that's because I put enough on it, you know what I mean? I thought that a couple areas around the edges, but once I sanded them down and got the high parts out of it, it worked out great. So that's my whole point right there. And then once this dries up a little nicer, you can go back over it with a fresh piece and then really clean it up nice once you get all your little high things down that we're cleaning off right now. Trust me, you just won't have to work as hard when it is fully dry. It really don't need much in there until it dries up good. A couple little slivers in here. Yeah, and I'm probably gonna just keep putting these videos out as I'm doing them, guys, because I'm wanting to get content out. So I was gonna keep just trying to work until this is completely done in this video, but that ain't gonna happen. I mean, it's just, there's too much to do. And I mean, unless you guys wanna watch a 2-hour or so video, I know you guys don't. Sometimes it's, people's okay with that, but not everybody. Because there it is, it's all in one and you can watch it and skip through it and do what you want with it. But in my case, I gotta get the content out there, or it won't keep me in the, it won't keep my videos up there for other people to watch them. And like I said, they're not as long. This is getting close though. It's about there now. I mean,
It's about damn time.
once I clean these areas up and the other side a little bit more, there's only like one spot on that side in the front, a little one that I got to skim, and same thing on the back. I think there's a little spot there, and then we'll get it ready, shoot the primer on it, and clean that up, and we're ready for paint.
Sounds easy to me.
I know I just made it sound like it's all bing, bang, boom, but those are the steps, You can see how a new piece really shaves it nice, so you got to be careful because you will take it off. And then you'll be sitting there swiping mud all day. That's all I try not to do, is just, I don't want to be there swiping mud 16,000 times. So I try to put it on a little heavy, like in the corners, and then take it down. That's already starting to dry up, but that's okay. We've only got a little bit left right here. You can see that it's not letting me through until I get these high spots down when you're sanding it. And as long as you work with that. And anytime you're in these like curved areas, just work with it. Work around the curve. Don't try to stay, flat with it, groove. So if you still have spaces that are low or whatever, then you just go through and skim the areas, a little bit, and then come back over it for the last thing, You ain't got that much work. Okay, all right guys, I'm gonna clean this up a little more and get a decent skim coat on here. And then I'll bring you guys back when we're hitting it again. Give me a few. Okay guys, so passenger side's all set. I'll take you around and look at it here in a little bit. The front part there is finished on the driver's side. I got a couple little spots here that I wanna mess with real quick and then just re-skim it. But what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take this thing, hopefully you guys can see, I'm just gonna
You're pretty damn fast. That's how it's all.
just tap in a little, so when I skim this one here, I think I'll use the long one.
Wow.
Once again, not that this is even remotely important, because once the primer builds in here and you open this door, you're never going to see none of this stuff. But I just want to fix it. Here's one right here, a little one. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna reskim these areas, guys, and I'll bring you back when I'm cleaning it up, and then we'll be ready for primer. I'll take you around and show you the other side and everything. So give me a little bit here. I'm gonna skim it, let that set up a second, do my thing like we've been doing, and then we'll be ready. Be back shortly. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take you around here and show you. We got everything ready. I'm gonna show you the next step here. It's looking and feeling really nice. All of it feels real good. This is the driver's side. Let me take you around here. Everything turned out really nice, really. What I mean by that is, it usually does anyhow if you do it right, but as far as how many times I had to go through it, my main work was in the, so total, you got the skim of the Duraglass, and then we got the, I had I did one off camera on both sides of the mud, so 3 times with the mud and a couple skims around some of the highs highs and lows, or some of the high spots that we had that I knocked in, which was only back at this area here. But anyways, now we're just about there, ready for the primer. So now what we'll do, and normally ideal, we're gonna use this, that soft one I showed, well not soft, but firm foam one. So I got some 180 on there, and all I'm gonna do is go around here real quick and feather out some of the stuff, which I already done with 80, but I just wanna make it a little bit smoother. A lot of guys will tell you, go over this, or shoot your primer over like a rougher thing, like a 36 or 40. I'm not with that. That's 1978 and 82 or whatever it's been. I mean, you literally you fill it with primer, sand it, put more primer on it, sand it. I ain't with that. Primer will stick and eat and fill in on a 180, a 80, no problems. I've done it for many, many years. And some of my followers that know me from back in the days when I had Queen's Body Shop, and any of my body shops I had, they'll tell you the work was always nice. It was never, and that's how I've always done it. So 36 and 40 to shape my work, 80 to go back over it and get the rough scratches out of it and feather some of the edges real good, not some, all. And then I go over it lightly with some 180 just to get a nice little form there, so I ain't got no, just so I can feel it for the last time before I put primer. And I guarantee you do it that way, when you put your primer on it and sand your primer, you're gonna have less work in it. I'm just telling you the ways that I've learned that it's less work and it turns out nice. If you go trying to sand with like a finer paper when you're first doing your mud, all you're gonna do is polish it. That's why I always start with the rougher one and work my way up, because the rougher one shapes it, you move up, now you're gonna smooth it out some, you know what I mean? And never are you polishing it until now. And I'm really not polishing it now. All I'm doing, and I'll show you, all I'm doing is just cleaning up my, just smoothing it in. So when I go to prime it, and all this is doing is just helping some of the other, if I got some heavier marks or scratches in it that I didn't get out with the 80, which I do have some in here, and that's all I'm doing, just cleaning some of those up so I ain't got a ton to fill with the primer. Because if not, you're gonna be working with that primer for a long time, and that stuff takes time. And money. You got nowadays. I don't use the old school lacquer primer. I use a urethane 2K high build, and you're gonna have some money in that, buddy. The hardeners and all that, and like I said, it takes time, and that feels so good now just doing that. So now when we've primed that, we're gonna block it again, get it even better. So that's all we're doing here. Just making it nice for the primer. And you can feel it when you're going over it, if it feels any weirdness to it. Yeah, sure, I can go over this right now with primer. It's ready. It really is. But there's like some rough edges that I don't like, that I'm gonna have to work with the primer or with this. Either way you look at it. So why not save a little money on primer? And I'm gonna load it with like 2 or 3 coats the first time, and that's it. I'm gonna block that stuff out, and it's gonna be ready. Because I've done all my work right now, and I'm gonna save money with the primer. I guarantee it. But anyways, I was gonna tell you, ideally on this paper, this is all I got right here is just the round stuff right now. But ideally you want the flat square stuff that you can tear off and put on your blocks. Sorry. Always, work the curves. I'm trying to curve around it. You guys will see when this primer goes on how nice this is, and how nice it turns out when the black paint's on it. This is black, don't forget. Black shows everything. So you don't get black right, you're gonna see it. So that's why I do this. I wish you guys could feel this. You'd say, man, that does feel nice, and that's what you want. So once again, 36 for the forming, or 40, that's all I ever use. 80 to come right behind it, to just help take out some of those deep scratches and feather it in nice into the existing stuff. Or even if it was just metal, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
What the hell was that?
You want to feather it in. And now all I'm doing is cleaning it up just that much more better, so the primer don't have to. I'm saving some money on primer here. I promise you, if I didn't do this, well, if we went over 80, it ain't as bad as some people going right over 36. You go over 36, you will put primer down once, sand it, and put it down again. Maybe 3 times. Depends on how deep your scratches are. I promise you. You do it this way, anybody can do body work. I promise you.
Promises, promises.
Because there's nothing to it. There really ain't. You just feel it. Like I said, highs and lows. Feel for that. Always put the mud on. Don't be afraid to put it on. Forget about all that. This thing's full of mud. No such thing. I promise you. Go watch Dave Ken dig it. Go watch all them guys that are building these 1, 2, $300,000 cars, they've all got it in it. I promise you. People, they'll show you right on the TV. So it ain't like I'm telling you no lie. Don't be afraid to put it down, and your end results will be a lot better. Anyways, I wanted to show you the steps here. I'm gonna finish this stuff with the 180, and then I'll bring you back when I'm doing a little bit of masking. I just want to mask a little bit, like in the jam some, so the primer just ain't going everywhere. Because I usually shoot it with a low pressure and heavy, so not much overspray. This feels so nice, you guys. I'm telling you right now. But I'll bring you back once I'm ready for the little bit of masking. Oh, and something else I'm gonna do, I'm gonna kind of go over some of these other scratches with the DA a little bit, feather some of these out. This I'll probably hit with a little 80 where it's real rough steel from the grinder, just to sand into that a little bit, and some of these heavier ones, because all we're gonna do here is prime it, sand it, and paint it. Or prime it, sand it, seam seal it, and paint it. We're gonna seam seal all of our edges so it looks factory when we're done. But you'll see as we're going, how nice it turns out. But this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go around and hit all these spots with the 180, blow it off, clean it down some, clean these little places up here with a little bit of, probably just some 80 on a DA, because it feathers out nice. I probably won't have to hit with 180. I'm just cleaning up these heavy scratches. And then I'll bring you back. We'll shoot this primer on this thing and get this thing closer to being buttoned up. Thanks for watching again, guys. Be back shortly. All right, guys, so here's what we got going on here. I'm going over this thing with some, a little bit of 80 to get some of these bigger scratches out, which I already hit these. I got to do these by hand a little bit. Across the bottom on the flat areas I already did with 80. Now I'm going around these little edges here with some 180, and I'll probably kind of hand scuff this whole area with some 180 when I'm finished with that, just so I get all the edges that are round, you know, where I don't put a sharp, because if I go like this with this, it's going to sharpen it up. So I want to keep that the way the contour is of that jam. So, and these corners here, you know, the outside of that. So, but I wanted to show you guys these little sanders here. So this one here, this is I think it's Onyx. I have a little impacts and stuff that are made by the same company, and they work great. But this one comes with a 2 and a 3 inch. You just take your wrench in there and unscrew it off of there. And they're just little, the Velcro backing pads on them. The hook and loop, I think they call them. And in this one, and I can't remember, I'll have to look up, I'll try to put it in somewhere in the video on how much I paid for that. I bought it at a place in Columbus called Wasco. It's a warehouse where you can buy primers, paints, body shop supplies, what have you. And in this one, same difference, but this one only comes with this one here, the smaller one, and this is from Harbor Freight. But this one, I'll tell you, and what they are is they're like a regular orbital DA, but they're great for jams and areas that, you know, and they only do so much too, and then the rest you're gonna, of course, you're gonna have to go in there by hand and hit them a little bit wherever these don't reach, but it sure beats a big DA, you know. So, but if you're gonna do something like this, let's just say twice in your lifetime, maybe 3 times at your house, like DIY type thing, one of these this is definitely, I think, cheaper than this one from Harbor Freight, and this is really all you need. And then you can get this paper anywhere. What I do is I get the hook and loop paper, like a big 6-inch piece, and I'll cut a bunch of them out of one big giant piece. But you could buy a box, these little boxes here. See, and here's the other pad, the little smaller one that comes with this Onyx one. And it just screws on there. It's got a threaded back to it, you can see. But anyways, the box that they sell at Wasco are these right here, and they're just the size, you know, that it needs for the bigger one. Now I'd say they got the 2-inch too, but at the time I think I only bought the bigger one, and I got 80, 180, 320, and I think some like really stronger grit, like 36 or 40. I can't remember, it's in my toolbox. But yeah, if you're gonna do that, something like this, or even smaller areas, once or twice in your time of fooling around DIYing, definitely go out and get you guys one of these, like at least the Harbor Freight one. This is cool because it's got the adjustable, on the Harbor Freight one you can't, but you can put a little, you know, regulator on your hose, but this one you can regulate down. That's up high. That's as low as it goes there, and then it screams. And if you know, crank it all the way up, but they work great. You know, now, like I said, I don't think this one was that much, even though it was more than the Harbor Freight one. I'll try to get you a price on it. It's definitely smaller. It's like a little, they call it a finger DA, I think. finger. It's even smaller than your palm even, but it's nice. You can get in there and, you know, get all your areas that you don't want to sit there and fool around by hand all day. Get what you can with this and then go back with, you know, by hand. But yeah, I wanted to show you that. I'm going to continue to get these finished up here with what I just said. Everything's ready, so I'm just going around kicking down some of these heavier scratches, and then I'll bring you guys back when I'm cleaning it off and getting a little bit of paper in the areas so we can get some primer on this thing. And then we'll proceed with getting the booth ready and get it in the booth so we can get it ready for paint. Cool. I'll see you guys shortly. Okay, so like I said, I'm going with 80 right now, taking up some of the heavy duty scratches. And then we're gonna, obviously, you see where I'm getting limited to where this DA can go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this, well, let me hit some of this mud up here real quick. I'm just keeping it flat and going over real quick and it just feels so much better doing that. I mean, if you guys follow these steps that I'm doing, anybody can do this, I'm telling you. All right, I'm gonna try this small one first. Hopefully you guys, actually, let me put this one on here. That's the 180. See what I mean by the size of the mark. So I'm jumping down to 80 right now. I got that locked on. Oh, actually, I gotta change this thing over because it's not on orbital right now. It's on grind. I ain't gonna mess with it right now. So let's change this over. Hang on one second. I'm gonna get some scissors and trim this. Okay. Yeah, by no means does it have to be perfect, you know what I mean? Just get it to where you can come out and get it on there good. I mean, look at that. I hope you guys can see that, how it feathered it out nice. All those deeper scratches just came out. And like I said before, on the deeper scratches, sure you can mud over it, or I'm sorry, primer over it and just fill it super thick, and then guys do it. But I just feel that if I get it down as much as I can, as far as the depth of the scratches, I'm only gonna probably, if I put the primer on good enough, block it out, and it's gonna be ready after the first time I primer it, most of the time. Unless you got some serious body work that needs, you know, hit pretty good. I'm gonna move this back over here for you guys. Yeah, this one you can control lower to all the way with the trigger. That one too, but that's the only adjustment this has on it. I could have swore it had something on it, but it don't. And if there was like spatter from the welder or anything like that I didn't see, this is going to catch it. So it ain't going to be the surprise there when we're scuffing this down, you know, scuffing our primer down the last step, and you're like, oh man, there's a big old, you know, got to hit it or touch it up or whatever. This will clean that up. Okay, so we've seen the, you know, the DA, the 80, this 80, and the areas where we need to get all these are, you know, blended in. We want to feather that in some so the primer ain't doing overworking it. You know, like I said, it will work. People do it. They 36 and go right over that thing, and then they'll, you know, 180, 240, or 320 it after they're done with the 180, you know, get feathering it out, the primer I'm talking about, then they just go to a smoother thing and paint it, and it looks fine. But I just like to get it prepped a little better like this myself. So that's how I've always done it, how I was showed. But so I'm gonna do that the rest of the way with the 80, and we'll clean them up, and then I'm gonna go around with the 180 a little bit, and then I'm actually gonna go by hand 180 over all these areas, the curves, the flat parts, the mud, every area that I hit with the sanders. I'll go around with 180 by hand. All my little cracks and crevices, I already did the other side. And then when I'm finished with that, with the 180, I'll go over it with some Scotch-Brite. You could use the red. I just got this is from the grocery store too. I've used it plenty of times, it's fine. But the auto parts store or something, they'll say the red. So I think sometimes tan and green too, but I'll go back over the whole thing with this too. And this will just clean it up nice for me. And we'll do this one more time with the primer, and it'll just give us a smoother finish before we put the paint on it. And you guys will see when that paint lays on it, it'll be slick and nice.
Hey, pretty slick.
With no, you know, that's why I follow these steps. So 80, 180, Scotch-Brite. And then I'll bring you guys back here as soon as I clean this stuff up, and then probably gonna pull it out and blow it out real nice to get a lot of this dust out of here. And then we'll bring it back in and wipe everything down real good, and we'll probably just mask it up to the middle just for now, just these areas in here, just so we can get our primer on it at least, and across the back. And then once we get that far, we're definitely gonna get it back we're gonna get it in the booth, I'm sorry, and get her prepped and ready for the paint. But we're there, guys, we're pretty close here. I'm excited. I really need to get this thing done. So, all right, I'll bring you guys back shortly. I'm gonna finish this. The other side's ready, except for the Scotch-Brite. So I just got what you see here to touch up, and then I'll bring you guys back and we'll get with it. Be back in a little bit. All right, sorry about that, guys. That freaking camera died again. Anyways, duct tape. Back tape with duct tape. I'm telling you right now, you won't have nothing come off. You won't have it blow in the vehicle when you're shooting. I mean, this stuff is on there. So I'm just saying, it's a good little tip there for you guys if you want to take advice. If not, do with it what you will, but it does work. Like I said, I know it's a little more pricier, but it's worth it when you don't want it to come off on you. All right. So we get that on there, and then I have let me put you this way real quick just to show you it. I have a little tape machine here, paper machine. Everybody don't need something like this, but you could just buy these little rolls here. I bought this from, I think, off Amazon, this paper. But you can go to auto body store and buy it too. It's a little more money, but this stuff's real pricey, this blue stuff. And this is the other stuff they sell, the green. And I'll either cut the rolls down or try to get them already cut down in different sizes. I'll cut them with a chop saw or something. And basically, we just want to get a piece that we need here. That makes it nice because it rips right off. But if you're not going to do this all the time, just use scissors. You know what I mean? I've had it because of over the years doing this kind of stuff. But anyways, I'll fold one in here just so I got a clean edge. Ain't got to be perfect because we're going to be doing some taping. And I'll try to get it on up here somewhere. See, it's already trying to stick to that stuff. All right, then we're going to take it over here, keep it as tight as we can, just so it's a nice, clean, tight. I got that at an angle. That's all right, we'll straighten up over there. And let's get it down there. Okay, so over here, what we'll do is we'll just fold it again and take some of our other tape. I'll find it where I put it. There it is. Now this is just regular blue house tape, because this is another reason why I like using the duct tape, because anything will stick to it on this side. And I mean that. I mean, you can put the junkiest tape on this side now and it'll stick to it because duct tape is just so sticky. And you really don't have to back tape this side. I mean, it ain't going nowhere. It's just me and whatever OCD you want to call it, but I usually put some on this side too, just because, like I said, I don't know why. You don't need it, it ain't going nowhere, but I don't like no little edges or nothing flapping around when I'm spraying, so I make sure that it's all good. You guys can do it like this or just leave it. Once you stick it on there, it ain't going nowhere, I promise you. That stuff is stuck on there. I would have ripped it trying to take it off on this end over here to straighten that out. That's why I just curved it again. All right, so now I'll just take one of these smaller strips. We got a little bit of tape on here. I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. Let's try it. And this tape here that's on this one, it's probably kind of old. I went a little too much here, but oh well. So here what we'll do is let's go ahead and just tape it across this, kind of get it up where we need it at. Get that corner, and then start tapping the bottom in. And then on the ends, we'll just take it and curve it back as we go. Keep turning it and curving it. Now here, you will have to back tape. Or I mean, tape on this side to get this down good. Let's get one over here first. And here's what, and I should have smaller tape for this, but I don't have any. I gotta go get some. I just went today to buy stuff from the supply store, and I'm trying to rush back here to get to work on this thing because I want to get this thing done. I forgot to get tape and everything, so I'm using what I got here in the shop. Of course, this is just primer, but when we go to, oh, get back here, get back here, get back here. When we, nope, I gotta go get that tape. Ah, don't went in the water.
You suck! You suck!
Man, I had a little bit of water over there. I think it's all right. Yeah, but when we paint it, I'll go and get some better stuff. Not that it's gonna need it, to be honest with you. It's just because I need different sizes of tape. I'm gonna need some 3/4 and some of the other sizes that I use. I think I use 3/4, 1 inch, and this size here. I think it's 2.5 or 3 or something like that. But that's what we'll go get from the, I don't know if I'll go all the way back to Columbus to where I buy my supplies at that Wasco place. And some of you guys from Columbus know what I'm talking about Wasco. Now that tape's too old there, so I'm gonna go ahead and tape. I do not trust it. I'm gonna put some of this over it, just because I don't want that blowing apart when air's hitting it. And then it's flapping, dust, dirt's going everywhere, you know what I mean? So, and that's the reason behind making sure your paper is not wrinkled up in places, because it'll catch dirt behind it. Like if you got a folded piece there and you know, and it's just sitting around flapping around and you don't put a piece of tape over it, it will get dirt in it. And when you go to blow that air, you'll know real quick. On the primer, doesn't really matter because you're gonna sand that stuff out anyways, but don't get used to it. Don't teach yourself bad habits, if you know what I mean. That way you don't forget to do that type of stuff when it matters with the paint and stuff. But we go shooting that black and the clear and all that. You don't want dirt coming out of nowhere. And you'll see when I'm in the booth doing it. Floor wet, everything. I don't like no dirt. When I'm done with it, I want to be able to look at it and go, well, I don't even need to buff this thing. All right, so basically that's it. Now what we'll do, I got to do the other side yet, but now what we'll do is I'm going to take a little paper just around this fender and push it that way, a little bit that way. I'm going to tape off, and I'll show you what I mean by this. Let me show you real quick. I'll take some paper here, and we'll tape it. It's been so long since I've done this, I'm probably going to forget how to do it. Let's see here. Okay, so put your paper downwards. Look at that stuff. And it ain't that good. It don't stick that good. It's sticking everything today. So you put your paper downwards, tape this off. Let me get it on here first. I'm the teacher that don't know. Okay, so you put it like that, and then you flip this back up, and now you have a, you know, like a rolled edge there. And essentially we're gonna go around this whole side here and that side, and then we'll bring it up and we'll tape it to this. And that's it. That's all you need there, because we're just gonna blow in. We're not gonna try to keep the primer from everything here. We're just gonna blow into the paint. You know, we're gonna primer into it, so when we sand that, it feathers out nice. That's all we're doing with that. Same with the back, same with the front, and that's it. We'll be ready, other than cleaning it and primering it. So I'm gonna get the other side taped off. I'm gonna finish this stuff, and then I'll go around and show you guys what I meant by all this kind of stuff here, so you know. But that's how you do it. You put it on down first like that, tape it, and then bring it up, and it gives you like a rolled edge, just so there's not a bit, so anything that oversprays that way won't be a completely sharp edge there. Not that this is really, this is one of them things again, don't teach yourself the bad habits, you know, keep doing it the good right way, because if when you go to like blend paint colors or blend in clear and stuff like that, you're gonna do stuff like this to keep soft edges, so that way when it dries and you go to wet sand that edge down, you can just wet sand that little roughness down, buff it out, and you'll never know where we blended it. Never. That's what's gonna happen on the back there, because I'm not painting the whole back side of that cab. We're just gonna paint into it. And I'll show you back there what I mean when we're painting it, but just learn the right way, you know, stick with the, do the right ways, you know, don't pick up bad habits, and don't forget to do things just because it's primer, you know what I mean? Well, we ain't gotta do that because it's primer, so do it the right way. Now I'm ripping it. All right, I'm gonna get this stuff taped off, and I'll bring you guys back here shortly. I gotta get a fresh battery in this battery eater, our sweet GoPro. Be back shortly. All right, guys, I got it all taped up here. I'm gonna take you around with this camera here and show you. But basically, we'll go from the back to the front here. All I did was roll the edges, like I showed you guys earlier, and I went ahead and taped up the strikers. Sorry about the shadows, guys. Trying to get some light. I taped up the strikers and some of the hinges. And I wish there was some sweet way I can tell you to mask, but there isn't. It's just kind of like wrapping a present. You know what I mean? Just do it until you know that it's masked up nice, where you want your paint at. Just take your time and do it right, you know, kind of like I showed. And we're gonna blow a little back inside there so we can scuff it up some and then put some color over it. But basically, it's all looking good. It's all scuffed, it's all ready. So what we'll do now is I'm gonna get the primer prepped and ready, and then we'll go, hang on, we're gonna go to the other side so I can show you it to you. Yeah, basically we'll get the primer ready. Same thing on this side, we'll blow some color in there. We'll get the primer ready, and we'll wipe this all down real good. I'm gonna try to get it, this stuff that we're spraying, guys, it's super thick stuff. I mean, it's almost like Bondo, really is. So you need a gun with, I'll show you when we're doing it in there. You need a gun with a big tip, 1.8, 2.0, 3, whatever's high from there, it doesn't matter. The bigger the better with this stuff. And I'll tell you what, when you spray it on, the material is on the area. So if you got scratches, if you got areas that need blocked, you got it to work with. There's no doubt about it. So, and it's a very good price on this stuff. And I've used it a lot, very good stuff. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this all set up where I can get you guys in the mixing room and show you guys kind of how thick that stuff is and how I'm gonna mix it up and take you through the whole thing. So give me a few here. I'm gonna get this camera here put, probably both, I don't know yet. We'll put both of these cameras in the mixing room. But one more thing I wanted to say, after I prime this, that's gonna be it for this video here. I'm gonna separate them because this is getting kind of long too here, this video. But I think I kind of like it this way. It's in a little series and it's not so hard on me getting, you know, having to edit and do all that stuff, because all that stuff does take time. And something else, guys, I wanted to kind of touch base on real quick was the channel itself. Please, guys, if you can, like, share, subscribe, share as much as you can. I'm really trying to build this. I really appreciate it when you guys, it's starting to pick up pretty good now. We're going to be hitting 400 soon, and then 500 is going to come right after that, you know, and so on after that. But I really can't wait. One thing with this channel, like I said before, I try to do everything here, and I mean everything. So if we're doing something, I want to do it all. I don't want to send it down the road and have this guy do this for us. We want to do it all. So if we got to build a machine, if we got to, just like when I get into the shirts, that's something I done too back in the days was t-shirts. So I'm going to build a machine that does our shirts. I mean a nice one too. We'll build a sweet one. And the designs that I'm going to lay out, you know, I'm going to kind of touch base with everybody on the channel, see what they like, and we'll make stuff that everybody's going to like. So that's going to be the cool part about that. And I'm going to price them right too, because we're doing them in-house. Like other channels, I guarantee you them things are up to 25, 30, 40 bucks. Who knows? They're up there. So with us here, I'm gonna keep it down to where everybody can afford it. They're gonna look cool. Everybody's gonna like them. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get set up with the primer. We'll worry about all that stuff when it comes time. I'm just trying to think ahead a little bit, but let's get this primer on this truck, man. Let's get this thing rolling. Be back shortly. I'm gonna get you guys set up over here. All right, guys, this is my paint mixing room. I'm gonna try out to do it with this camera here because it's kind of small in here. So let me take it off of here real quick, kind of take you around in here and show you what's going on. Just a little room, man, we built, me and my son-in-law. Got the shaker down there. On this side, we have the gun washer, just some extra little stuff there. Those are the PPS 1 and 2 style cup systems for the guns. As you can see here on my Iwatas, which I love Iwatas. That's the PPS style 2 style. And with the primer gun here, the Spectrum, which this gun here is from Harbor Freight, and it's a bad boy, let me tell you. As far as like for shooting on sealers and primers, it's a nice gun. But that's the old style of the 3M's cup system. So I'm gonna get this thing set up back on here. I'm gonna talk a little bit about this primer here. This primer is the stuff I was telling you about. This stuff here ain't no joke. Now I've used a Finish Line, a couple other, all kinds of primers really, but so what's cool is I got these old things here. I used to have a paint mixing system when I used to have an R&M paint mixing system in the shop here when we did a lot of body work. But these, if I can get this to work now, these just lock on. I should have probably tried to move that first off. Nope, it's on there. So what I do now is, because you used to just stick them in the machine and the machine would stir them up. I did shake that earlier, so it should be pretty good, but I still take my gun, my cordless, and then I'll just kind of rest it back here on that. Bring it up just a hair. I think I put it on this one. Yeah, and then I just stir away. I'm gonna do that for a minute and I'll bring you guys back. All right, guys, we're good and ready. That looks like it's about to die on me again, but just real quick. Roberlo, I don't know if you guys can make it out, whatever. It's definitely like, I think it's German made or something, but it's really, really good. So it mixes 4 to 1, 4 parts of this to 1 part of the hardener. I put 10% reducer in it because it's just so thick. So, and I just use any old kind of reducer. This is stuff I get from over there, but any reducer, you know what I mean? So it would be 4 to 1. You use your 4 to 1 cup system. You go primer to 5. That little next 5 is going to be your hardener. And then just a little above that 5 there, I'll throw in a little bit of reducer. Stir it up and go to town on our spraying. So I'm going to get it mixed up. I'm going to go back over to the truck, blow it off real decent, and wipe it down with some of this. I had some de-waxer left from the boat when I fixed the bottom of the boat. Not much, but probably enough to wipe it down with. And we'll be ready. I'm going to crack the door over there in the shop and try to get this primed real quick. So I'll get you set back up over there. I'll get all this stuff ready and we'll be back shortly. All right guys, unfortunately, I'm only gonna be able to show you one side. I gotta kind of hurry here. I'm gonna crack this and cut this fan on so it sucks out. I don't wanna, hold on. I don't wanna take it through the booth because I got stuff in there that I don't wanna get overspray on. It really shouldn't, because I got it kind of low, as you can see there. I might be kind of low. Let's see, I'm gonna put some on these primered areas first. Yeah, we need to go up some more than that. That's better. I mean, this stuff really fills in, guys. And I'll take you around and show you all this when we're done. I'm putting some on the mud areas real quick first. I'm hoping I reduced it enough. It seems like it. I'm gonna take you around here. Hopefully, I can't see the back of this camera, so hopefully you guys can see all this. Let's see, I'm gonna try to get you a shot this way this time. See what that does. The thing is with this primer, you got to get it on because it's thick and you don't want it any thicker than it is. That's for sure. I know it's looking good. I got some deep scratches in this one. That's okay. We're going to put it on it. I put that down a little more heavier. Yeah, I mean, that probably doesn't justify, guys, but it's looking good. It's looking real good. It really is. I mean, once we block that out, when it's time to block it, it's gonna look good. That's kind of already setting up there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put some on these areas while that stuff's setting up. That way we got some on everything. And then once it dries, I plan on putting like 2 more heavy coats on it. I'm putting this one down kind of easy. And then, oh, and one more thing, guys. I should have a respirator on. Don't do this. But there's not much in the air here because I got it on the way I'm shooting it. Still, no excuse. I should have it on. And it's going on just like no overspray. I can't even, to be honest with you, I can't even smell it, barely. But still, don't do it. All right, let me go cover this other side real quick, then we'll let this stuff sit up. All right, I went ahead and put one more coat on the mud areas. We'll do this side too, and then we'll let it sit up, or, you know, splash. That way we got it on it. I forgot to tell you guys that some of you probably remember, if you was paying attention, but there was a dent in that corner down there. I kept saying I don't want to forget to fix it, and I almost did. So it's fixed. All right, guys, I'm gonna let this set up. I'm gonna put a cap on this, run some thinner through the gun so it doesn't set up in it. About 15 minutes, I'm gonna put another coat on it. 15 more minutes, I'm gonna put another coat on it, and I'll bring you guys back when I'm guide coating it. All right, guys, 3 coat, heavy, it's on it. This stuff here is just regular satin black paint. What I mean by guide coat, I'm getting ready to show you. So all you do, if I can't set this up a little better, yeah, all you do is just mist the black on, and you'll see why when we're to that point. But all I'm doing is just making it like, I'll give you a little close up on it when we're, and this is gonna mean something when we sand it. All right, let's go over here, get this side. Yeah, you see I'm at a distance on it. Some of you probably already know what this does, and some of you don't, but I'm gonna show you when it gets to that part. Okay, that's it. All right, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. Let me go ahead and go back to this camera. All right, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. Next video, we're going to block this stuff out, get the booth ready, get the truck in the booth, get it all remasked because that's coming back off. You can't reuse that stuff, collect the whole dirt and stuff, especially when we sand it. We'll probably leave it on while we're sanding it and stuff until it's blocked, and we'll blow it off and get it ready. But after that, we'll take it down, remask it, and mask it the way it needs to be to paint then. But like I said, that's it for this video. Thank you so much, you guys. I hate it that I'm making this into more videos than I said originally, but I think it's a good thing. It really is, because it's kind of, you're picking up stuff in different stages. If you have any questions, please throw it down in the comments, ask me whatever, and I'll tell you. But like I said, very soon, this one should go out here shortly, hopefully this weekend, and then I just got a little more to edit on it, and then we'll get right back on this thing, on a new one, as far as finishing this thing, painting it. I got a different little plan on how we're gonna put the bed on it. I think we're gonna do it with the lift. So I built this stand a long time ago when I was restoring this Chevelle, and I used it for a bunch of stuff since. My bed on my Kodiak, it's a nice little stand. So I think I'm gonna mount to that, get it in the lift, raise it up in the air, and then once this is painted and done, we'll back it up underneath it, because I got more control that way versus the forklift by myself. You know, it's kind of pain in the butt, but appreciate you guys. Till the next one, thank you so much.